If I were to do cold email for Crisp.co, here's how I'd do it. I prepared a one-pager breakdown on how Crisp.co can add predictable outbound pipeline in the law firm space without hiring an SDR. Crisp.co is recognized as the #1 law firm growth company in America. So let's get right into the video. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is the mechanism here. How does it work? Well, first, we're going to be sending a cold email here. Not just regular cold emails. We're going to be combining volume with precision. What do I mean? Volume, which means we're going to be sending hundreds and hundreds of cold emails per day, targeting the right people in the law firm space. So, but who do you reach out to? Whenever you go to databases like Apollo, Crunchbase, ZoomInfo, law firms are usually categorized as legal services or law practice. That's the industries that we'll be targeting. But who in those industries do we actually reach out to? Well, that actually depends, because if we're reaching out to managing partners, that's usually best if you're reaching out to 20 to 100 company size, or if you're reaching out to smaller companies like 1 to 20, then you could reach out directly to owners and founders. But if you're reaching out to CMOs, marketing directors, then usually that's within the 100 plus range, because at that stage you have a marketing department that is directly handling that. Now next, what do you say on the actual emails? So I prepared here 2 angles that we could try on what do we say on the actual emails when we're targeting them. So first is you versus the competitor, meaning we are comparing the law firm versus the competitor in their specific area. The subject line would go company versus competitor. We will be leveraging the power of AI to research what are the top law firms in their area, and we would mention that on the specific email because that would intrigue them. What does this mean? Why is he comparing my company with another law firm, right? So the body goes, hey, first name, when someone compares company with competitor in your area, is the difference clear right away? That is the gap Crisp helps fix for law firms like Alexander Shannara, Trial Attorneys, Omara Law Group. And these law firms are the case studies that I found on Crisp's website that we can definitely leverage whenever we're writing cold emails. Because remember, when you're reaching out to them, you're still a stranger in front of their eyes. So who are you? What do you do? What's in it for me? Those are the type of questions that they immediately ask whenever you're sending a cold email to them. Next, I can put together a one-pager breakdown showing how competitors position themselves and where a company can win. This is basically like a front-end offer to eliminate the risk, because remember, you're still a stranger in front of their eyes, so how can we eliminate the risk and build trust immediately? And the call to action will be something like, is this something you'd be interested in? Easy to respond to, easy yes or no reply. They can immediately say yes or either no. They have an option to say no to. Now, the angle 2 would be the straightforward angle. Subject line would be company X crisp intro. And the body goes, hey, first name, I won't waste your time and get straight to it. We help law firms win better cases by making their marketing clearly positioned as the top choice. We have done this for X, Y, and Z. These are the companies that we've already helped with. We are establishing that we already know what we're doing, and we have helped other law firms in the same industry. Now, the value proposition that we would say here, if helpful, I can put together a one-page competitor breakdown for companies showing what others are doing to win trust and what to change. Let me know and I'll send it over. It's the same thing with angle 1, but remember, what we're trying to do here is trying to get our foot in the door. They're trying to understand who Chris is. Then we can add them to our funnel, connect with them on LinkedIn, call them, enrich them, and that's where we build the momentum. Now, how do you actually run this? So there's 4 main parts that you got to understand here: the setup, the list, the launch, the optimize. The setup, I'll break it down in 4 parts. You got to buy the domains, set up the inboxes, warm up the inboxes, and protect deliverability. These are the actual inboxes that would send the emails for you. Now, the list building. The list building is what I mentioned here. Who do I reach out to? Basically, you map out the whole target market, which is the law firms, the legal practice across the whole United States. Do you want to target specific states, etc., etc.? Now, the next step is to build the prospect list. Building the prospect list is where you actually pull out the entire list of companies, the list of decision makers in respected industries. The next step is to validate the list. You don't want to reach out to people who are no longer part of that company. So what you want to do is make sure that the email is real, the email is active, and is still up to date. And lastly, you can enrich the list. Enriching the list means that we are going to research what are their competitors in the area, etc., etc. So instead of you just sending hundreds and hundreds of cold emails per day, you can now automate everything where you can write 2 to 3 angles on what to talk about, similar to what I did here. Next is you can start small. By starting small, I mean once you finish warming up the inboxes, you can now gradually send cold emails per day 50 to 100 to 150 to 500, depending on the type of volume that you are prepared to do. Next, route the replies. Whenever someone is interested, what do they do? Do we have a template for responses? If they're not interested, can we follow up with them the next quarter? Things like that. Now, I got a bunch of tutorials on my YouTube channel that you could figure out as well to help you with everything that I've just mentioned here. Next is optimize. Track real metrics, meaning you should track positive replies, meetings, pipeline. Second, diagnose the bottleneck. Where are the things that we can improve at? Are there any better steps that we can do here? Next, improve one variable at a time. Once you figure out what's already working, try to improve one variable at a time. Should we try testing new subject lines? Should we try testing new call to actions? Should we try targeting a different job title? And then lastly, scale the winners. Once you found what's already working, just scale, 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 add more volume, target more people, and then rinse and repeat. That is how you can get qualified leads all via outbound using cold email for Chris. If you want, I can also walk you through on how we can implement the entire process. We do this on our agency, Excello Marketing. Just reach out to me. Thank you so much. Peace.